Is that the song that come? I'm just lazy and stuff, but.
Somebody, right?
Should have brought my little echo on here.
Oh, that happened on it. They
Yeah.
probably can still hear it though.
Yeah, we
Because
can.
it's right by the mic.
Lock it, right?
Nope, John, you can get right back.
Turn that light on, girl. So you can see it.
I'm good and not first.
I'm good, not seeing.
I'm sure, you know what I'm saying? It's like 3 in the morning here. We can cuss, so like 3 in the morning.
Alright. Hey everybody. This is the True First Podcast, our first broadcast. I want to introduce my panel today. I have Quenisha.
Oh, which way?
Justin. Michelle.
Hey!
Harris.
What's up?
And over here behind me is my brother-in-law, Dura.
What's up, y'all?
So some of us you see, some of us you can't see. So our topic today is the 80-20 rule.
Ooh, what is that?
So the 80-20 rule I got from Why Did I Get Married?
Okay. Yeah.
And it says that you're going to only get 80% of what you want out of your mate. Pretty much. So my problem with that whole movie was, what if the requirements of your relationship is in the 20% category?
Your requirements?
Your requirements. Things that make you happy. What if that's
only
in,
20%? Okay.
what if it's in the 20? Because most of the women I talked to said that they were happy with the 80. It's a big number. It sounds good.
Just
because it sounds good
Don't
mean
mean it's good. Come on now.
So,
Okay.
so what if what they lack is what you require?
In that 20.
In the 20. And it's in the 20 because in the movie, they said that 80%, I don't want to be putting everybody on. Sorry. In the
Right,
movie,
you want to get it in the picture.
Right there.
Yep,
Here's your
right.
check.
We're going to do some adjustments.
sorry,
Oh, you'll sit on the couch.
sorry, you see, this is our first broadcast. Work with us.
We got it, we got it.
We got it, we got it.
We got it.
So I go like that. Alright,
Water back there.
so in the movie, to me, I had a problem with the fact that we seen the problems and we seen the result of the problem, but we never saw where they actually talked to work it out. Like what the issue was. So, what y'all think?
I would say, I believe when it comes to the 80-20 rule, it depends on what that 20 is. Like what
What might tell you.
I believe
You can pick it up too if you want.
in the 80-20 rule depends on what it is that you're lacking. If it's something very important, like, all right, the 20 is something that the woman is or the guy is looking for, that's a deal breaker.
That's what I'm saying.
So
In the 20.
So in the 20, if it's some things in it that's a deal breaker, if it's one, then you kind of can make some adjustments. But with it being the 20 rule, man, if it's like a key thing that you really, really need, and I'm gonna go into it, money and sex are two of the things that a lot of women that are.
My question is,
Okay.
my question is, you have requirements in your relationship.
Right.
So, what if the 80% is she keep the house clean, she dressed nice,
She's
her makeup,
submissive and she
all that.
all this cook, clean, and everything.
20% is she don't have that motivation to build some more, like something like that. That's what I mean, like that.
20%
That's
is that.
I got experience with that. I was married 15 years and divorced, and that was the reason why. I'm talking. I'm gonna cut you off. I'm sorry, but when he was talking, I was just thinking about it. I said, man, this is like just my life. I was married for 15 years, for real, 15 years with my wife. And, and I pushed her. I didn't push her. Yes, I did. I did because I wanted to motivate her to go to school while I worked. We had kids. I worked. I said, look, sweetheart, you can go to school. You can work. Make sure you get your nails, hair done, do all the stuff you need to do so you can, work so you can get what you need. I got everything else. I got 4 girls, 4 granddaughters. I said, I'm going to work. I worked 2 jobs for first 10 years of our marriage. I told her, go to school. so that you get a career instead of a job. So when I'm done, you know, I can retire early. That's my problem. That's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna retire early. You can take care of the low end or whatever, everything else. She didn't have that drive. You know what I'm saying? She did everything else. Like I said, the 80% was great. You know what I'm saying? My wife was great. It was like a honeymoon the first 10, 12 years of our marriage. I used to brag, tell my brother, my daddy, man, I'm still on my honeymoon. I'm serious. And it's just like, but it was like, after a while, you know, things changed, economy changed, things like that, and I needed you to have my back. So I've been telling you for 5, 6, 7 years, you know, go ahead and get started. You got to rush to get through school, but just start. Get it going. And she didn't do it. She just kept quitting on everything she started. And that quitting bothered me. So that 20%, I didn't divorce her. She divorced me on some other issues and everything like that. Maybe because I was, from what I look at now, I've been divorced for 3 years. From what I look at now, maybe I was on her too hard. But I thought I deserved that after putting in my work after all I worked for 10 years. Right. And I put it on the table from day one. Yeah. It wasn't like it was a surprise. Look, I got you. I was always working. I've been working since I was 14. Mm-hmm. 2 jobs, nothing. I worked at Chrysler in the boys' home for 12 years.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Are you bitter about how it went down?
Yeah, because what she did, yes, I'm bitter about that. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'm being real. I'm being real because then I look at how I might have pushed her and got on her so much about, look, I need you to, you know, and come on, what's going on? And I need you to get on this team. I need you to get on the same page. I need you to get off the bench. Let's do this, you know. And I might have pushed her to do her other thing. And that's what I regret right there because I might have could have taken it another way.
People need that push.
But she wasn't that one. She wasn't strong enough.
But at least you offered it to her.
I did.
You offered it to her. So that was like the great thing right there.
Right on first day.
So I'm going to go with the 20. I'm going to go with the 20. Because we're big on the 80. You got to have this, that, and the third. I'm a person that give you the benefit of the doubt. Because guess what? Everybody needs somebody.
That's right.
Some things, you know, I'm big on attention. I'm real big on attention, right? So that's going to kind of woo me. And some girls be like, attention? What about a job? Sometimes it's the little things you do. It's the little things. So if you only coming with 20, guess what? I'm going to support you until you get to your what? 80.
Suppose we started with 80. And then it drops off as we get comfortable.
We're going to have a conversation. We are going to have a conversation and say, hey.
Here's what one dude told me.
Okay.
I tried to have that conversation and she got mad and it was an argument. So she mad that he bringing up what he need. And the saying is, he was like, well, it say happy wife, happy life. I'm like, no. Because if that leaves you lacking something. So it's happy spouse, happy house.
Yeah. I always said that too because I always hear a lot of women saying, "Oh,
happy wife, happy life."
I said,
that was
"What
great
about
what you
us?"
said.
Do we have? I heard a lot of women say that,
You come out somewhere.
and I had this discussion with my.
We switched.
I had this discussion with my ex, not quite so ex, but with my ex-wife. And we had a discussion about that, about happy wife, happy life. But I always said to her, like, what about us? You know, what about the gas? If we not happy, how's we gonna make you happy? You know what I'm saying?
What's your ex? Did she have an 80-20? What did she have?
I believe that she had the 80.
She had the 80.
What changed then?
I believe she started growing because I was her, you know, me and her was together for a long time, and I was with her when she had nothing, and I wanted to grow together, and as we grew, it's like once she got to a certain point, we grew apart, and I don't know exactly what made that change, but I know that we was having problems. And with that 80-20 rule, me and her was looking for something that we couldn't find within that 80-20 rule. You know, I might have been her 80, but she wanted that 20% that she really, really wanted. The 20 was more important to her than that 80, because I know for sure I was the 80. In my eyes.
How do you know? Because
I say only in my eyes. I'm speaking on me.
What
But
your mate needs, you can't say. They have
that
to
is true.
verbalize it.
That is true.
So you assuming because you got a nice job, you got money in your pocket, you doing everything you're supposed to be doing, but that may not be in her requirements.
right.
So if you never communicated, but you just thinking, oh, I'm the shit.
And that's
This
good.
what I'm bringing. I brought the table, so
And that could
I don't
be
got nothing to bring to the table. I brought the table. So if you
Right.
in that's arrogance, and
Right.
it's just gonna lead down that path.
and that could be why we split like we did.
But then in that same token, that person could have just been there for a season.
Right.
Some people are in your life for a reason and a season. It's just like that in a relationship.
Right.
Some relationships you're gonna get the I'm not gonna try that no more. I'm not gonna step there no more. Then some relationships you like, wow, you
And
know,
I feel
they
like-
wooed you.
And I feel like in his
Yeah.
situation, I feel like in his situation, just based off of how he explained his situation, that was the case. That she was just seasonal. Because if the change didn't come and you in the 20% wasn't a big deal until after she got to where she wanted to get to, then you can't validly say, this is an issue now. Like, where was this issue before? Like, why wasn't this talked about before and not when you made it to where you was trying to get and now I'm not good enough for whatever reason?
I just wanted to make it to that place. You know,
Yeah, so that appears to be
She saw me
seasonal
to
to
that
me.
place.
But
Yeah.
why do we have to have a number?
That's a good question.
Why do we have to have a number?
I don't think we do. It was just something that was thrown out there,
Right.
so I decided to ask.
And
the question.
that's where a lot of
Yeah.
relationships mess up at, because we going on numbers and not how we really can. Let's count numbers.
down, girl.
Let's put numbers out. Let's just take that out completely.
So what should we put in its place?
How can we make a relationship better if it's not good?
Goals.
Communication
But here's the thing with
with each
communication.
other.
Not to cut you off. Here's the thing with communication, and I'm gonna just speak on me personally. Anytime I throw something out there, we don't handle what we hear. Like I'm a person. Like when you tell me something and it's not what I want to hear, I'm not gonna receive it well. I got all type of I'm giving it to
Kickback. You got
You know what I'm saying?
you got to kick
So
back.
give me a minute. I'm that one to let you know I did not handle it at first. So give me a minute to be able to handle it a little better. But a lot of times we react on emotions.
Yeah.
That's just like if I ask you a question and just because you want to be the first one, you're going to answer it.
Yeah.
You know? But how many times do we actually take the time and sit back like,
And listen
You
to
know
what
what
it
he
is
said.
you're asking.
he was
Yeah.
right,
It was right.
but
Yeah.
damn why he had to say it like that.
Yeah.
I had a person say this to me. Can you really handle the question? You know, if you ask the question, can you really handle
Handle
the
the
answer?
answer that
Yeah.
you want to see.
And
Yeah.
I was like, how dare you say that to me?
I feel attacked.
Yeah, I feel it. But
They have that answer. They have that answer. They can't handle that answer.
exactly, but
So
think about it. So I am one to say, give me a minute before I kind of react on that, because if I give you what I'm thinking of first, it's all messy.
But I
It's
got a
messy.
question for you.
Mhm.
Did that come over time?
Oh,
Or you had,
definitely.
you know, you had to develop it, you had to
Definitely.
learn that, but that came from the experience of the things that you.
Seasons and
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah.
Seasons and reasons.
So that's where that come from.
Come at me.
Come
Come on now, come on. I got a whole novel. I got an encyclopedia of some episodes. You know what I'm saying? But I learned from each one of them. I learned from it. Were there some that I was like, ooh, you know, they say God don't give you how much you can bear. And I'd be like, Lord, you really think I'm tough because
Yeah.
that last one,
Oh,
you know,
honey.
that last one.
Baby.
That's a good way to look at it. I look at you like, oh, you are strong. You look at you like, hey, you are strong. You throw this at you, see
So,
you gotta look at it like, okay, God.
Like it's hell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But if you got through it,
But that's because you
Yeah.
can't handle it,
That's another-
because it's coming. It's sometimes if it's coming too fast and coming, you know, hard at you.
I was
Just it's hard to.
I
Yeah.
couldn't take it. Like Sean would tell me, babe, you know, that I gotta walk on eggshells with you because if I tell you this, you know, it belongs into that, and he was right.
Yeah.
But how was your reaction back then?
My thing was, okay, you
Bop,
keep it
bop,
popping.
bop, 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 bop.
You
Right.
keep it popping,
Yeah.
so
Right.
I'm gonna
That
hit
took
you
a lot
with
of
the
growth, yeah, because I'm like, I'm not hearing what you're saying. I'm just hearing you attacking me. So let me say,
Yes.
well, I could say the same thing about when
Come
you
on
did
now.
this,
There
this,
you
and
go.
this.
But
It will always
but
be.
it's not always
But what you do, right? But what you do, but how about this? And it's like, no, we're addressing you right now.
Yes. You don't want to hear that.
Right.
No, you don't want to hear that.
And at the time, don't pick the time that I'm addressing my issue with you to come back and be like,
Thank you.
but
But
you.
Yeah.
You know what's better
Yes.
than
Us
men, we definitely-
We got this.
us males are definitely good at that.
Deflecting.
Yes, for sure. We're definitely good at that. Why I was saying that because I know I'm guilty of it myself.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you, cause I sit there and let you talk, and while you rambling off at me about my stuff, XYZ, and I'm like, wait a minute, bitch. What about when your ass was this? If you don't get your monkey ass out my face, and that's how I react though, cause if I sit back and let you talk, I got some shit up my sleeve because I'm thinking like, wait a minute, hold on, you forgot that you ain't come on, just stay at home.
And then my
He said
other
all.
deflector was.
I'm just saying, you
My
know.
other deflector was. What ain't what you said, it's how you came at me.
Oh man.
Your delivery.
Yeah.
Every
Delivery is a key thing.
Your delivery. But I'm big on that.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's okay.
As being a big guy, me and Sean talked about this. Even in the workplace, in a relationship, everything, sometimes we gotta watch being big guys, how we come across and how we say things. Because it come across as intimidating sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's your lady. You gotta come across her the right way. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be smooth with it. Even if it's an issue with you, a big issue like that, the 80 or the 20%, whatever it's bothering you gotta come correct. You know what I'm saying? You want your relationship to be smooth and be always smooth, because we don't like to argue. Brothers don't like to argue.
No.
That just hurts us. Y'all don't think it hurts us a lot because we want our lady to be happy. Ain't nothing like come home to a happy lady.
So do you
know what I'm
feel like
saying?
that's one of the reasons why your marriage didn't work, because maybe you came off intimidating when you were
At
pushing
first
her?
it wasn't, but then like as time went on, think about it. I said
Yeah.
10, 12 years. I
Yeah.
gave her chances now. That's what I'm saying. I did. I prayed on it all the time. But you know what I'm saying? But still, I still could have just
You could have
handled
been
it
frustrated
much
at that
better.
point,
But
because
still,
you
I
said you
still-
was
it's
10,
no
12
excuse.
years. It was
It's
like,
still no excuse as a
Yeah,
God-fearing man.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
no excuse to come across your lady you love that way.
But it's that perception. Because one of the things
I mean, I was raised that way.
but I have
And we gotta break that. That's
But
one
my
of the
thing
biggest
is,
things.
are we
Break that
expecting
way.
men to be feminized when they
Yeah.
deliver to
My
us?
mama and dad been married for 47 years. You know what I'm saying? My dad, I see my dad do it.
I
But
see
you know
what you was
I'm saying?
taught,
You know, that's all.
Are
That's
in
all.
this current
It's
society,
different.
are we making men more feminine with how they deliver information to us?
I
For
don't
sure.
think
I don't think that's
so.
feminine.
I don't
I'm not
know.
saying like, hey,
That's
bitch,
someone
you
you
know,
love.
you did
No,
feminine.
no, I get what you're
No, I
saying.
know what you're saying.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think that's feminine.
I don't
'cause
feel like
love
that's
my woman,
feminine
you know
at
what I'm saying?
all. I feel like I have better communication with my fiance if I'm talking to him, if we're talking to each other normal.
In a comment.
Like I understand he's a man. You're the man of the house, but you don't have to come at me aggressive because I can't hear you if you doing too much of that, or you coming, what is this was? I'm like, I can't
You ain't
do
gonna
that in here.
receive it.
It's hard to be submissive if I'm feeling attacked, even if it's verbally. So I can't be submissive like, okay, you know what, you right, babe, like whatever. I can't do that if you coming at me all the way up here. I can't hear none of that. I'm be like, okay, well, when you done doing all that, then we can talk
You
about
forgot what he said.
Yeah.
And that's one of my
It's
things.
amazing to hear her say, being submissive. That's a word that a lot of generation has no clue about. No clue. Submissive. If you really break it down, what submissive meaning, babe, can I go to the store?
Yeah.
Babe, can I do this?
Ain't nothing wrong with that, though.
Mom, can I go here? Babe, I'm right here. I'm calling you to let you know I'm here. That's being submissive. I have to take your lead because you're my lady. And I'm supposed to follow your lead. That's Bible.
I had to get her that way too.
But
that is so
here's the
true.
thing, a
Go ahead.
lot of our
That is so true.
generations do not know submissive. I'm impressed, not to knock your generation,
Yeah.
but just to even hear
You
someone
say that.
say it,
Yeah,
like they
it-
really can know what it means. It's a man that leads, and a
Where
woman
did you
supposed to
learn
follow.
that?
It'll be great. It'll be
Huh?
great.
Where did
It'll
you
be
learn
great.
I learned it. I mean, my parents have been married. I'm 31, maybe 33 years.
That's
But for a lot of times when my dad would speak, like my mom isn't a pushover, but
Not at
he's
all.
the man of the house. So it's like my husband got to be comfortable with A, B, and C, and vice versa. So for me, it was honestly a learning. Even though I
It was
grew
a
up around
challenge.
it, it was a challenge for me
It was a
because I
challenge.
grew up around majority men. So for me, it was like it was hard for me to kind of open up to be that type of person, and I'm still a work in progress now. But I'm like so much better now with saying okay instead of well, this is or challenging
why?
him every
Right.
time.
But you know why it was hard? Because that independent generation
Yeah.
came in. You know, I got this.
Mhm.
I don't need you.
And
I'm doing
Is
this.
that a
That's the
generation
problem.
or is that a black woman thing?
No, it's a generation.
I feel like it's a generation thing.
And they always want to say that. And
She is right.
always
I
want
mean,
to say
I
that.
feel
heard
like-
that. I've heard that.
What
I'm
black
saying-
women say.
I got something to say about
I'm independent. I got this. I'm gonna do this.
I got something to say
But one thing,
about something.
one thing about I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead.
One thing about you said about your fiance. One thing, my dad is like that. You know, my mom living, but who run the house? You are. I don't
Yeah.
care what nobody say.
The woman runs the house.
We can be
Yeah.
big and bag and make our decisions and
Yeah.
y'all run the crib. And I used to tell you, I know.
Yeah.
I
I
agree.
know.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Without you, I could be nothing. Without you, I could be
Man,
nothing.
The man
He
is the
leader.
lead.
No, we're
Yeah.
not. You're a leader.
We got
But
home.
you run the house.
Right,
Yeah.
but you
I'm
run
the
our
leader
lives.
because you can be.
You're making, you know,
I'm the leader because she's agreeing
Yeah.
to let me make these decisions.
I'm agreeing with
Yeah, oh,
you.
yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm
Yeah. My bad. I thought she would. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my bad. I'm
But
sorry.
he got something
Yeah,
to say
Go
over
ahead,
there.
yeah, go ahead, bro.
Girl,
My
go
bad.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Come on, man.
About back to like saying the independence. You know, it's a lot of women in our generation, more so than you guys, more in our generation that, which is I say between the, I say about 40, 35 and under age group.
Okay.
Always saying women. I'm just going to use women for this incident. Saying that, oh, I'm independent. You know, don't nobody do this for me. I do all this stuff. But then, if you that independent, when you do finally meet a guy and he come to that home, then you like, okay, that's yours. But I thought you was independent. You want him to take over more of everything. I'm just asking the question to the ladies.
Most women, I'll speak for a black woman,
Okay.
come from single parent households like I did.
Right.
So I didn't see what it took for a man and a woman to make that work. How I'm supposed to, be submissive and not saying that our independence is nothing, but we're a group now. I mean, we're a team now.
Right.
And we become one. It ain't
Right.
that we gonna split this down the middle. It's whatever's in my pocket is in our pocket.
Right.
And it's hard for some women because all they ever seen was their mama making it happen.
Yeah.
So
Including me as a male, seeing that. You know.
Yeah. And I think
coming from my point of view of a male seeing that, my mom made it happen. My dad never made it happen, never. But that's what makes me the man that I am with my kids, because I have to make it happen.
That's rare that it would turn out. It's not many men like that would turn out like you without having an active father figure. Because, like you said, in our generation, like a lot of these men, like the 3 P's that I've learned was profess, protect, and provide. And that's something that makes you a man. That's something that will make me want to be submissive to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't do those 3 things, those are like the basic things of calling yourself the man of somebody's household.
expand on those
And-
3 Ps.
Just as far as profess, for me, it's making sure that I know that I'm loved, that I feel that I'm loved. And it's like that attention thing. When I tell you I am huge on attention. Like my fiance, I am his attention whore. Like I need your attention often. All right. I am. I will. That is something. That's how I am. When it comes to protecting, that's just self-explanatory. Protecting your family, even if it's just me and you, I should never feel vulnerable to somebody else.
Okay.
And then providing for your family, not having to take care of everything, because I work, so I help. I don't mind helping, but we are doing this together. It's not gonna be cute just carrying and you calling yourself the man. You're not the man of the house if you can't provide, if you can't do your part. And those are those 3 things. A lot of men in our generation don't carry those three things. So that's why we got it. We don't need you, because it's like clearly we don't need you because you're not giving us anything to need.
But the flip side I got from men was, I'm okay that she's independent. Actually, I'm rooting for her and wanting to support her. But she make me feel like I'm not needed. I'm not necessary.
And that's what happened.
Definitely are.
And
So
that's
that's
what
a different
that's what
situation.
happened. I want to speak on it. All right, let her finish.
And so the thing was, is if I can't be the man at home, I'll just find another home to be the man in.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that was my situation. To be honest with you.
And with y'all two, I felt like y'all was building women.
You
What were
were.
they when
We
they
were.
got to you? So
Yeah.
why did your expectation change? You can't have it this way and then
Yeah.
because you're
Well,
wrong.
I
My-
looked at
but
myself
see,
as coming up too.
His
So I wanted
situation.
her to come up. I wanted her to come up with me, and I thought she would have been the perfect mate to come up with.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I looked at her, and we was friends before, but it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I thought she just kind of got comfortable. Because I took care of things. You know, we traveled the world. We did a lot of things.
Got
See, now his situation and mine are two
Got
different though.
comfortable.
What I would say
And
about that.
leading.
Yes.
I-
And she didn't want to grow more. You know, she was,
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm good
gonna
because
grow
he
some.
got
We'll see.
Maybe she
It's
did
awesome.
want to grow more, but not,
Not with me.
you.
There you go.
Not with you.
Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
But
Wait a
in
minute.
her eyes,
Wait a
she
minute.
feel you was more a push.
Yes.
Li-
And
now,
you was pushing for something that
I
she
will
didn't
say this.
want.
Y'all just touched on a lot
Maybe
of
you should have
points.
said,
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff.
okay,
on
do
there.
I'll let her
something.
finish.
Not just push school. Maybe you should go get a
I
job
mean,
and do
all
something.
that
that
job,
you like.
those jobs, everything. I didn't say
So-
school. It was everything. I said just do anything, cause you know how you know home alone. You know you drop the kids off, do all the other things you gotta do. I'm at work. You gotta have some. The idle time is the devil workshop. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do something with yourself. You have to
So
do
she's
something.
gonna be a housewife.
She didn't want to be a housewife, so I said, "Cool, do something. Get a job."
So I'm
Get a job.
confused.
I wasn't against
I'm
anything.
confused. So she stayed at the house. Did she do the cooking and the cleaning and
Yes,
all
that's
that?
what I said. She was
So
great
she
on that.
was a
Okay.
She
housewife.
didn't have to. I didn't make her go get a job. No,
Okay.
no, don't get me wrong.
Okay, see, that's what
But
I was
she was
saying.
saying, when we had talked before, she was like, I don't feel like I do nothing. I said, baby, you run the house. You're the boss. I said, you're the boss. I said, I told you, she's the boss. You got clothes, everything good. You good. I'm good. But if you feel inside yourself that you need something else, go get a job. Go to school. Go do it. If I pick up another job again,
So did she do it?
she did, but she never finished. She always quit everything. I was like, what? You know, and it was like,
So what is she
quitting?
doing now? Still quitting?
I don't know. She's with
Oh,
her
you work.
friends. I mean, I don't talk too
Right.
much. You know, I got the kids. You know
Well,
what I'm saying? I
okay,
got the
well,
kids. She paid me child
maybe
support.
that was the problem,
She
right?
paid me child support.
Maybe that's what was the
I
problem.
took care of the
First, why you say that? Can
Maybe
I,
she wanted
how
to
does
be
that feel?
free.
Wait a
She
minute.
wanted to
Wait a
be
minute.
free, period.
Wait a
I
minute.
went and talked to the judge and told him what was up
She
for
wanted
all
to be
these
free,
all these
period.
years.
That's all that
The
was.
judge had a good judge. He was like, why would I give the kids to her and she can't even take care of business? And she's got a pattern of quitting and not doing what she's supposed to do. I got you. I said, well, look, I want, if she had visitation, she can have it anytime she wants. She didn't know he gave her visitation. I said, baby, you can have it anytime you want. These are girls. But she had kind of, I don't know, it's me and my babies now.
Okay.
You know, like that.
Mom, what's your point?
And you know why it's you and your babies? Nah, cause she quit that too.
That's
And-
right.
That's exactly what she did.
So
Exactly.
she's got the
That's
she
exactly
got the
Yeah.
hey she
That's
Ain't that something? But then I noticed, I talked to a couple of my partners and their exes have done that too. I was like, it's like there's a change going on.
it is.
It is like a
It
lot of
is.
women
It-
are
you was-
just like, I'm out.
Yeah,
I think it's
For
already
real.
in them when you get with them.
yeah.
But you
That's
can't
how
build
I
it
feel.
there. You can't build it
That's
there.
how I
Can't
feel.
change.
But the thing is,
That's
the
how
thing
I
is,
feel.
listen, I would say about that,
Good
how
one.
do you know as a man? We don't know
We
that.
don't know that.
Yes,
We don't know that. No,
No,
we
we
don't.
Y'all tell
Y'all
me-
saying that from a
Hold
woman's
on.
point of
I
view.
don't know.
Hold on.
I don't know.
Hold on. When y'all go in the room,
No, I don't.
y'all don't know what woman y'all want right off the bat.
I did,
Yeah, but we
and I
thinking
and
that
I
might
got
be
the
the
woman I
woman.
wanted right off the bat.
Did you think that's my rib? Or did you think
You know what they thought? I'ma just be honest. Some men
Yeah,
are putting
do
you
it.
in the
Do it.
yeah, for
I
me.
know what you're going
Don't
to do.
send for me. All right.
Come on, Miss Good. Come on, Miss Good.
Cause I'm gonna elaborate.
Yes.
Go
You
ahead.
at the club, you not thinking about does she have a personality?
Huh.
Do she have a
Huh.
job?
She preaching.
Does she have this and that and the third? Is this the one that I can see taking
How
home
they
to
do?
mom?
Huh. You need to take another drink.
You don't
You
don't
need to
see
take
that.
another drink.
All you
You
see
need to
is-
take another
all you
drink.
see is Tatiana. All you see is
You need to
Tatiana.
take a
Like,
drink on
she
that.
Hey,
do
bro.
the damn thing. She wore that outfit
went.
So let's be.
I'm gonna speak on it. I'm gonna speak
So
on
you
it.
should have known that she
Wait
was
a minute.
always a girlfriend and not a wife.
Let me
But that's the difference. We don't know.
We don't know that.
Nah.
You don't know. You don't know if it's a husband.
We gonna take a chance.
We take more
chances.
chances. Listen.
See what we can work with.
We take more chances trying to know a woman, learning a woman. More women. The women like cut a nigga off so motherfucking fast. Like, oh no, that nigga ain't shit. Oh, he couldn't help with this.
We gonna keep it going. We gonna try.
Hold on, y'all.
We gonna keep trying.
Come on, kid.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Go ahead.
I'll take that turn if they can't say it.
Okay, no, I'm ready, baby.
I'll sit. I'll take that interview.
So I got no. Yo, we saying all this. I got one question for you. When you got married, were you 1,000% sure when you walked down the aisle this is who you want to spend the rest of your life with?
Ooh.
Now,
No, I thought.
It
No.
sounded good.
Wow.
It
That's
sounded good.
Listen.
No.
No. That's a good question.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Were you 1,000%? It was not a doubt in your mind when you was even preparing, putting on your suit. When you was preparing everything, like I'm okay, honey. When you was doing that, were you 1,000% sure? Like this is my one.
Honest to God, true.
Honest to God, true.
Honest to God, true. No, I'm gonna tell you. No, because I'm feeling this.
Let's be
Because I'm just telling the truth.
I already put my money in it.
exactly.
I already put my money in
Let
it.
him finish his statement.
She just got all my chips for this. That's what they
Mom,
do.
get in.
No.
We
Wait till she finished.
We all turned up anyway, so we might as well go on and do this. My boy's coming and
We don't know.
I didn't have no kids. We didn't have no
I
kids.
don't have no kids.
Okay, no
I
kids.
got one.
Okay, come on. Okay.
I got this.
What's in her teeth? What's in her teeth?
You can't help that. Come here.
I'm trying to give y'all an answer, but I can't answer. I want to answer the question.
Time to think.
Answer the question.
I don't need time to think. I know exactly what I want to say.
Okay.
I just need a chance to say it.
Okay, come on.
I was more than 1,000% sure my wife is who I wanted to be with. Plain and simple. I did, but that came over time. I didn't know right off the bat. No, it did because when I got married, we had been together for some time.
Yes, they do.
So when you ask that question,
You said
1,000%.
He said over
Over
time.
time.
No, but she said the question was,
That's
are you
what I'm getting
1,000%?
when I got
Nobody
married,
knows it's 1,000%.
when I got married, I knew that was the woman I wanted
Can I
to
ask
marry
you
and
this?
who I wanted to be with for the rest of my life. It wasn't no other. I didn't
He
see
took
no
the-
other women. I
He took
didn't
the
see.
number out. Did you see that?
I
Okay,
did not
okay,
see.
okay.
I did not
Because
see
why have a
any
number?
other woman. If my family knows me, and they know how I was with my
Yes,
ex,
got you.
and y'all know I was good of what you seen,
Yeah.
but I had flaws too,
Right.
as well as she did.
That's
We
good.
passed that, me and her, and all we do is work on our relationship with our kids. But at the time, we was so madly in love. Before the kids came and all that, we was madly in love. Nobody couldn't tell us nothing. We took the world on by storm. It was me and her. But in that midst of that, I was a fighter. Everything. Took her in, made sure she was all right, learned, helped her with new things that she did not know.
Okay,
Once
but
she
you
got to a
said
point that when she
you went into
understood
that.
when she got all of that knowledge and then gathered other knowledge, I believe that she grew. We grew apart, and she seen, instead of seeing me here, she started seeing me here, and you should have never seen that because I never seen you there. I was always like this with a rope, pulling you up, my back hurting, everything. I'm pulling you up. I'm working this job, working that job. I'm doing this and that. I gave my wife what she wanted. My wife wanted to get married. I did not want to get married.
There you go right there. That's your answer.
I'm talking no, before the time came in though. Wait a minute. Let me finish my statement. Let me finish my statement.
Hold on.
Let me finish my
Did
statement.
you propose? Did you propose? There we go.
Over time, yes, I did.
Oh,
I
no.
did propose. Yes, I did.
At this particular moment, right now, I want to get married. You were the one that said, "Will you marry me?" Got on the knee.
I never got on a knee.
Can I ask this?
I never got on a knee at all.
Can I just ask this? In my list of things, be real, because it's just keeping it true, right? Give me three of the things that I listed you cannot say it did not run across your mind on that day. because you keep emphasizing how I grew into this. We're talking about at the beginning. Did you know for sure that you
When
wanted to
she
do
started
this?
talking about marriage,
Because here's another thing. You keep giving yourself these accolades, saying, I did this for her. I did that.
And she
we're
did
good.
things for
listen,
me too.
Listen, but you did not even say that. You didn't
Well,
say that not one time. All you did is gave us a list
but
of
I
things.
did say that we both did
No.
wrong.
No, listen.
Oh, I'm
Ellen
listening.
May, listen. You gave me a list of everything that you did.
Right.
And you made it seem like, y'all saw that? I poured her.
Right.
I did this. What did she do for you?
The same thing. She was
You
smart
ain't
to the
mentioning
hill.
it, though. You ain't
Well,
mentioning it.
you didn't
till
ask
now.
that neither.
But
You asked about me,
didn't
my
say
thoughts
that.
about the
So
situation.
pretty much
She's
you
not
saying
here
you
to
was
speak
the
on
80,
that.
You was the 80 and she was the 20, huh?
I agree with him.
For
She's not
both.
here to
She's
speak
not here
on
to
it.
speak on that. You can't ask me
Yeah,
that, how she feel or what she
But we
did.
don't know.
I can't speak on that. I can tell you that she did things too.
He don't
You
know.
asked about me. You didn't ask about my ex-wife because I don't want to speak on about how I felt about my relationship.
If you think about the topic,
You can ask him
You
how
gotta
do
ask a
you
question, though. I
think.
just
It's-
think
it's-
you answer that
See, that's the thing. Going back to you don't like how I responded, and you said it to yourself. You just said you don't like how I received, so you have to take a moment. You did take a moment. You was like, hey, well, so you already heard what I said, but it's about my life.
That's my relationship. This is just a topic.
Okay.
I'm saying I don't handle what I hear in my life. Right now, today, we're just having a topic. I'm just giving it to you rough and raw like you giving it to me.
Right.
So my comment still stands. In my relationship, my mate sometimes cannot come and just give it to me because I'm going to feel a certain kind of way. So yes, I'm going to still stand for that. But right now in here, has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it's all different.
It's just, we just kicking it. But back to
But
the
they
subject.
did ask him.
There's a particular question.
To me, you
You know what
answered the
I'm saying?
question two different ways.
Okay.
You gave us your politically correct answer first.
Right.
But when we all the way pulled it back, you said you really didn't want to get married.
Can I get my water?
I mean, you did.
Well,
And that's how she got in it.
but the thing
Because
about
you
it
brought
is,
her in it. Because
you only
got
asked when you
married.
ready. I know. I asked
You
when I
did
was
get
ready.
married?
Right.
I did. I asked when I was ready. You know what I'm saying? And I asked, and I was ready. You know what I'm saying? When I walked down the aisle and saw her down there, I was 1,000% sure this is the one. I thought. You know what I'm saying? We all taking a chance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Going down there, that's a
Yeah.
chance.
Y'all-
Right, for sure.
You know, we can be blind on love. We
I
can
feel
be-
like y'all too
Exactly.
went
Okay.
into
why
it.
you say a chance?
Because you don't know how things gonna turn out. You know,
Right.
after they can show you this front to get married,
Right.
And then you get married and be like, oh, I'm 360, the 180, whatever.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
I mean, that's just real.
Yeah.
Well,
That's on either side.
I feel
Flip a
you
coin.
felt
Either
that
side.
way.
Either
In
side.
your head, well, that's the chance I can get a divorce. That's the chance.
No, I
I'm
don't
here.
even thinking that, but I was
I'm saying, because you put
100%.
chance in there.
But that's
and
just,
that's
that's
what
just
I'm
life.
saying.
Though.
Who don't put
That's just
chance
life,
in there
because
though?
I was 1,000. When I looked
Because
down
if
that
you
aisle,
walking down
I was like, I
that
want
aisle,
her. This is
you
it.
shouldn't be thinking
I
about
want my
it's
mama
a
did married
chance.
for 46 years.
So speaking of
I
that,
wanna do the
what
same
do
thing
y'all
that
think
my
about
mama
when
did.
y'all walking down the aisle? Because y'all can't say you
mean, I haven't
know
walked down
100%
the
that
aisle
that
So,
when,
I
have you been
can't tell
married?
you.
I'm 21 years.
Okay, then. So what was you thinking?
What I was thinking.
Yeah, you ain't had no doubt in your mind that that was the man of your
I'm
dreams.
not gonna have no
no
doubt.
doubts. No doubts.
I can't
No
marry.
doubt.
I can't
Or
marry my
not-
fiance
not-
if I'm
I
doubting
did.
anything.
So you,
Well,
but you
All
have
that
questions.
time.
Always questions.
But did y'all ask me, did I have doubts?
You could be
Questions
scared.
about-
I didn't have doubts.
It's
But my question, but let me
anticipation.
tell you, my question was:
Okay.
once I walk down there, I'm gonna do all I can to stay in this marriage because I walked down there.
What was your question?
This is not no playing game. A lot of people get married just to say I'm married.
Right, for sure.
And as me being a kid,
And you gonna turn
I never, people think childhood when they grow up, I'm gonna be a wife. I never thought about that. My mother was never married,
Same here.
so that never came. But I knew if I do get married, I'm gonna fight for my marriage no matter what.
That's awesome.
And that's what's in my head when I walk down that aisle.
It need
What
to
was
be
your
more
question,
women
though? You said-
like that, though. That want to fight, and more guys like that want to fight. Most of what I said, like with our generation, they don't fight. They fight
They quit.
regular, yeah, and they quit and give up so
fight,
easily.
quit.
They fight, yeah. They fight and run out, and that is selfish. That is selfish because they thinking of one. They thinking of oneself in the situation when y'all supposed to be one whole. So so when you supposed to be married and a couple, you got to try to fight to the end. To you supposed to fight. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all have to be both.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking on both sides. I'm talking on both sides. They both have the one, but someone don't want it. Then that has to happen. Somebody has to go. I mean, they have to split.
If you're not gonna fight, it takes two people to fight.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
If neither one of y'all is trying to bring each other together to fight for it, it's not going to work.
It can't be one person.
So
Cannot be one person.
when you started saying she felt that y'all was unlevel or whatever, she was up here and you was down here. Did y'all ever have a conversation about that?
We had so many conversations
Not
about
arguments.
that. Yeah, no, we had arguments too, but we had conversations as well. With that, and it just never ended well because when we start off a conversation, then it turned to argument because it comes to that. Okay, I know we did this, we did that, we helped each other with this and that. It started coming to accolades after a while. It was like, well, we neither one of us can compare them accolades because we both did this together. We supposed to build together. That shit should be erased. That shouldn't be nothing that we're talking about. But
none of the conversations were successful.
Right.
no, it can't. But I think that we should have personally went to the person that even married us. That was our pastor. Me and my wife never did that. We went to an outside source, went to a counselor, and then they tried to coach her to get a divorce without even hearing anything from my point of view or anything. They had conversations with her, not with me. Then they try to coach me to get another separate counselor. I say, now y'all just trying to get the money.
Yeah.
Because you're not telling her nothing. She coming back telling me that what y'all saying, but she like that it's not. She like all I hear from them is them telling me to leave my marriage. But her to get to the point to leave her marriage when she did, and me and her to separate, it kind of came to like a agreement. Like, okay, we see this not going to go nowhere from here.
That's pretty much.
And I'm like, we both, like I said, did things in our marriage that we have to forgive each other for. We still cool, still love her to this day, love her to death. I believe she's a good woman. But
in our second half hour, let's say the 20% is terrible sex, terrible
that's why I started saying
penis
first. So go ahead.
size, coochie smell.
Huh?
Hey, shit.
Okay, what age? Let's put an age on that.
Yeah, ain't no age on that. Ain't no age on that.
That's a
Let's
problem.
say for the ladies.
Okay, well, it's for the ladies.
Let's say his oral is terrible and his sex drive is dried up, and let's say for the men, she bite the tip every time, and
She don't move when we
I am appalled.
okay, all that.
Get it. I'm gonna lay here. You get it.
I just let it while he on top.
Okay,
Right.
Okay, so I'm
Ain't even
gonna
trying to
go.
come.
With the one,
Ain't even trying to come. Ain't even trying to come.
I'm gonna start Paris. I'm gonna start with Paris and go around.
Okay.
Okay.
so for the man, repeat that.
Just
Far
bad
as women-
sex. Just bad sex.
That
What's
is
that
a
in the-
big.
in
That's
the 20?
a 20. That's a.
Is that a deal breaker?
No, that's correct.
You know what? I'm
Take your
older.
time, take your
I'm
time
47
right
years
there.
old. I'll be 48.
All right.
And right now, that is not the main thing in my life right now.
How
Because I
significant
want,
is it?
huh?
How important is it?
It's important, but it ain't. It's important. Don't get me wrong. But because I'm very sexual, I like men like that. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Okay.
but if she busting up dollars, she making it happen all the other ways.
That ain't
Maybe.
the question.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay. All right, yes, it's a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker.
Okay,
It is.
say what it is.
It's deal real.
Say what it is.
It's
That's
a
a
deal
deal
breaker.
breaker.
It is.
How long
Okay,
you giving
you're
her
right.
to work on that? Or is it any working on that?
No wonder on it, because I ain't messing with no young girl like that, so she's been around.
See, they go that number.
No, I ain't no number. I got can't mess with a 22, 23-year-old who don't know nothing about sex and making love.
Right.
I'm messing with a woman,
Okay.
not a girl, a woman, and she should know how to make love.
Every woman still don't.
They still
It's the
don't.
difference. That's
true.
definitely a
So now
difference.
what?
Love and sex.
How long you giving her to get that together where she ain't got blood
I
coming
don't
out?
know. I don't know.
Huh? 'Cause you have a,
And she keep biting.
you got
She ain't giving the head right, dog. Ooh, she ain't
All
giving the
right.
head right, yeah, man.
Listen.
Okay.
Go ahead, go to the next.
Shit.
Yeah, go
I don't know why
ahead,
she
Sheila.
having the show last,
Go
to
ahead,
be
Sheila.
honest.
No.
Because we ain't going to have no time to talk.
You right.
That
Next.
might be true.
Go ahead, Sheila.
That might be true.
Okay, you building your
Y'all
time.
crazy.
Justine, we'll
Y'all
go back
crazy.
to
Is correct.
Shit, Justine.
Yeah.
Well, you know, how I put it, it's important for us.
He's small.
Why you taking it there?
He's
Just
small.
let it go.
Listen to the. Say it.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Humping all fast ain't gonna happen.
Whoa.
He's small and his oral game is trash.
Oh, Lord.
So he bad at both.
That is so
It's
fucking
terrible.
wrong.
That's
God
I
did
don't
not
I
So
don't
is
know
it
what
a
would
deal
help
breaker? Is it a
that.
deal breaker?
I don't know what would help that. I don't. I
Is you
couldn't.
working with him?
No.
Are you in or are
See?
you out?
I'm out.
Are you with me?
Or against me. Hey, shit.
I'm out. I'm out. Sorry, I'm out.
You out?
Ma'am.
It's small and his oral game is terrible. What say you?
Okay. The whole small thing, I won't be able to work with that.
These are my honest.
I
Unfortunately,
mean,
I'm not gonna be able to do
I'm not
that.
gonna be able to do that.
Mhm.
I mean, in my past life, before this life, I've had an experience with that. I was very unsatisfied. So we won't even entertain that.
Okay.
As far as with the head being bowed, I feel like that can be worked on. I can train you to do it the way I need you, because maybe the last bitch liked it that way. Mama, I hope y'all not listening to this.
Oh,
Maybe.
you know she
I'm
watching.
like, maybe.
You know she said
Maybe,
right.
I'm like, maybe the last,
watching.
maybe the last one liked it the way that he was doing it, and I gotta,
Okay, so
Get
can
you
you
together.
deal with him just giving you head then if his penis is small?
no, because I like both of them.
No.
You need both.
No, I can't. I mean,
You gotta have. Yeah.
for the rest of my life, I gotta say no.
She said, "I
was like, wait.
Huh?
Is that even a
Bite on it, boy.
Dog,
scratch your
Look, he done moved all Mikey.
Bro, scratch your shit up like,
Dang. These
girl,
These
who your
two
teeth?
right here, I don't know what I'm gonna do with them.
Bring your toasting glass.
Huh? Let me see.
These two right here, baby.
Go ahead. Let him
So
The
have
niggas
his
that still
way.
living. Now,
and stick to the topic.
I'm going to stick to the topic.
Oh,
Yes, it's a deal breaker. You know, if she got stanky cooch, you know, it's a problem.
She can go to the doctor. She can go to the doctor.
She should have been went to the doctor.
But you just smelling it today.
But how do a guy even tell a woman? You know what I'm saying? Most guys, they ain't like, I ain't telling this bitch to know what the fuck going on with her. Most guys will flee and run.
We together. We in a relationship.
Y'all to make sure it just happened.
If it just happened,
Like,
yeah, of course you can work with that. But like, if you sitting here biting, yeah, your sex, your coochie wag, and your teeth can't move. Come on, man.
It's real life situation.
Yeah, but you can't. Your teeth can't be. That is messed up. But shit, it's messed up that you ain't learned from these sorry motherfuckers you was with before.
So are you gonna teach her how to get head?
No, you can't teach. I'm not teaching that shit. That's what her friends is for. They have watch a video or some shit. I'm not in the. I'm 35. I'm not trying to teach you at 35 years old how to give me head. Listen. I'm 30. Listen to me. Listen. I'm 35. I'm not in the business of teaching you at 35, and you right there because I'm not about to be messing on young girls anyway.
Right.
So I'm not in the business of teaching no grown woman how to give me head. When I know you know how many relationships you be in. You know, most of the time when you talking with somebody first meet them and everything, you kind of learn all of that stuff through relationship. And I'm like, damn, if they was comfortable with this, shit, I'm about to leave too.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why they left. But you don't want to be that hard and harsh and tell them that. And females and males do that. Yeah, females and males both do that though.
Yep.
And they scared to tell them because they especially if they love them.
Oh, we had some comments.
So if they love them, they like, how do I tell them this? How do I work with? Shit, tell them because not tell them and dragging it along going to make it 10 times worse. You know, it's gonna make it 10 times worse. No, it's a deal breaker. All of it's a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker. Bad mood, bad sex.
Hold on, y'all. We got some comments.
So we got Dorian saying it's called dating for a reason. I don't know what topic we were on. So,
to learn someone.
And Angie said maybe he should have gave her what she needed. So I'm taking it that was too.
Who was it to?
She didn't say who to.
One of us.
Okay.
Anyway.
He.
All right. So anyway, that was all the comments.
That's all.
Okay.
The other stuff is just
Nonsense.
we probably should
ain't
been
gonna
watching the
get on
comments
that.
while we was talking, but we didn't. So
Everyone is entitled to their opinions.
Okay, so
Okay,
is-
Shan.
are you finished?
are you finished?
No. Yeah,
finished?
I'm
Okay,
finished,
so
and I
you
would have been
want
finished.
It's a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker.
Here you go, deal breaker.
Go ahead, Shell.
Shell don't need no mic.
I'm gonna be
Pick
so
the mic up.
honest. I'm gonna be
Shell
so
don't need no
honest.
mic.
At the beginning, it was just, it was just hot and fast. We just wanted to experience and do the most. So I faked it to make it on a lot of occasions.
A lot of women
I mean,
have.
a lot of occasions.
Yeah.
But now, my mature season, that as they say, I just hit the 45, everybody. But yeah, I'm a
That is mature. That is up there now. That is.
So now
Good
it
saying.
is a deal breaker because here's the thing. I need that in my life. It's no explaining. It's no giving you a YouTube tutorial.
Right.
It's
You
not
should
us
know.
buying all these toys. It's either you're going to have one or the other.
Yes, right.
I
You
feel
should
like
know.
if one ain't working, you should have a backup plan. That's how life goes. You always got to have an A and a B.
So if that ain't working right, his mouth game better be out
You
cold.
better say it. So that's just how I feel. While they made me laugh, it's just like that. But,
That's all.
yeah. I don't want to put my life out there. There's plenty of people.
So in conclusion, for the men, you guys are suspecting in new relationships or just dating.
Yeah, well,
How different are you going to be with these upcoming relationships as far as the 80-20 rule, or is that out the window?
no, it's still in the window. I mean, with the relationship we're in now, we just discussed a lot of things that went on with my past relationship, and I'm not saying I'm comparing anything like that, but it's certain things. Everybody wants have a certain standard, a certain level they want somebody made to be at. You know what I'm saying? To be able to be happy and to be comfortable or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. It's still there. I mean, I'm not pressing it. I'm not putting number on it, but I'm expecting certain things.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Mom?
Okay, we get the quick version instead of your.
Story.
Because I know it's in your heart. It's in your heart. It's in your heart. It's all right.
But yeah, 80-20. I still live by that too. The 80-20 rule, I have to have that 80 and I can deal with the 20. That's just how I am. I'm very understanding and I will work with you. I've always been that way. My family knows that. I've always been that way. But if you lack in that 80 and you drop down to 70, 60, 50, then I'm like, dang, I'm not getting what I'm trying to get out of you. Then I gotta go. I tend to see that faster now. So if I don't see that within a year span, y'all be seeing a new person.
Okay. Ladies, how are you moving differently with things you've experienced in life and past relationships? How are you moving different in your current relationships if you're in?
I think that would be you, Miss Good.
I give a person the benefit of the doubt because guess what? I used to be 20, and now I feel like I'm in my 80s.
Okay.
And everybody needs a little push, and I needed a lot of pushes. I didn't just need one. I need several pushes. So maybe it's time for me to push somebody and push them.
Yeah.
But I was 22, so I'm just living my 80s. I'm gonna give you a certain time frame now because I'm getting older. I ain't got time for you to be wasting my life.
Right.
But if I see that you're trying and you want better, then let's keep pushing each other together. Let's keep it moving forward.
Justine,
Amen to that.
I know that's
are you moving differently? Are you good?
Oh, I'm most definitely moving different because I'm a handful. I'm gonna be honest. I was in the house with some brothers and some sisters that was very tight. So to deal with me, you a winner, and I'm gonna say that. I'm learning and I'm working on me.
You being great.
Yeah, I'm being wonderful.
You being great.
Because my attitude is bad. It's wonderful now.
You work in progress.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. At least you get admitted. They think first part.
Because I'm gonna be honest. My problem is I'm spoiled.
That's a
bottom
whole
line.
nother
I'm
topic.
just spoiled.
That's
I'm just saying.
like that? Like, it's okay,
When
sis.
somebody had to spoil you.
My brothers and sisters
You know,
did that.
you know,
So
you know,
my thing is, when I got with my husband, he did the same.
Yeah,
So
I figured that.
that's
20-something years, I figured that.
30 years together, 20 years
That's right.
married.
Ain't nothing wrong.
So,
That's great. That's great.
yeah.
Great.
I guess.
you about to step into it.
Yeah.
Let me rub some of that on you.
Right.
Some of that good.
I guess
I
for
won't
me,
touch
what I'm bringing into, I guess, stepping into a marriage that I didn't bring into any of my other relationships is me being vulnerable. Me, like I stated earlier, being more submissive, and also better communication, not being so hard. Because I in previous relationships, not all of them were horrible, but ones that were, I was always on the defense. I always felt like I had to kind of attack you before you get me, kind of thing, because of the type of person I was dealing with. But now I feel like I can be more comfortable. So those are things I'm opening up, as far as before I step into this lifelong thing, to make sure that I do my part. Because I am, when you said what'd you say, the happy house, happy spouse, or happy spouse, happy house, like that is something that did kind of hit home for me, because I'm like, it takes two to be happy. And I don't want to be like, well, it's all about me, and then wonder why I'm getting cheated on. Okay, so it's like you gotta kind of understand that your male or your woman needs to be happy too. So
Well, I want to say thank you, everyone, for participating in my first
You're
podcast.
Thank you. Great.
So what I want to do is, if anybody has something to plug, I would like them to plug that. I know Michelle does, so I'll let her start.
So you all can hit me at She's Good. I am your event coordinator. I just got you, and I'm always fun to have. So She's Good at yahoo.com.
All right.
All right.
Quenisha?
my company is called Crown Essence Productions. Pretty much I do everything visual, media, anything surrounded by music, any creative directing. That is something that I am doing on my end. I have a few artists I am working with right now. So right now I don't have a website because my business is very, very fresh. However, it's coming up, but you can find me on Facebook, Quenisha Peterson, and on Instagram at Iam_Queen_P. And that's it.
I would like to say to everybody listening that you are a walking lifestyle. That's why I said it's a diva style lifestyle, because being you is a lifestyle. Someone is watching you somewhere, and how you carry yourself, they watching. So you are your own individual lifestyle.
Awesome.
So represent your brand well.
Yeah.